Hello everybody, and happy Monday. I hope you are getting off to a great week. It's beautiful here in Virginia. My name is Colleen Magnus, and today you are creating with Colleen. As I said, it's beautiful. We had 2 days of rain. It was dreary. Of course, that doesn't stop the soccer games, which is fine. That's what a grandparent does, is goes out and watch them no matter what. But wow, the sun is coming out. I see blue sky. It's supposed to be low 70s. And I thankfully can now open my windows because the pollen, the heavy pollen, has definitely gone away. Thankful for that. So I just want to let me boot up my computer so I can see who is coming on and joining me today. And if you're watching the replay, no worries. Leave me a message and I'll keep an eye on the comments. And I will go ahead and answer any questions you have. Hey, Mary, I'm glad you're here. We're going to create a fun card today. Again, I'm trying to break you in easy because card making can be as simple as you want it, or it can be as involved as you want. And I just want to start out simple. Tina, again, thank you for letting me be a part of your wonderful Creations from the Heart scrapbooking Facebook page. So it's an honor to be here. I love it. So today we are going to make a basic card, and then we're going to step it up. And then I'm going to tell you how to see the same card in an avid way, really stepped up. I'm also going to, when I share products, at the end of this live, I will share a great way for you to get some free products. So without further ado, let's get stamping. I have my windows open and I think I'm safe because my husband, who is retired, is going to go pick my grandson up from preschool. Otherwise, we would probably hear motors running and vacuums and everything else. He retired in August and I'm thankful for that. But, and I'm also thankful he's not a couch potato. He does keep himself busy. So let me turn us around. Let me see. I always have to look for that little reverse camera, and then I have to hope that I hit the right button. Never ever did I think I had fat fingers until I tried to work on a phone. Crazy as it is. So let me straighten up here. And Mary, let me see if I can, I want to see when my live is so I can keep an eye on comments. Let me see. I think if I click on that. Hey! Okay, give me a shout out, Mary, so I know I can see you. But I do see the comment bar. Okay, so today it's kind of like again, it's a card making 101, and I'm going to use 3 colors. Stampin' Up is awesome at putting their colors together, so I don't have to. Praise the Lord for that. I'm a little color challenged. But in their Subtles collection, we have Calypso Coral, Petal Pink, and then Very Vanilla. So these are beautiful soft colors. And the inks I'm going to be using are Early Espresso, Petal Pink, and Calypso Coral. So it's great when everything coordinates, even the ribbons and all that, but I'm not pulling ribbons on you today. We're just going to use these. So let me set these aside. Now the stamp set I am using, it was one of my favorites from the start. It is a distinctive stamp set. So that means it has the detail in it where even just stamping, you're going to get lights and darks. And I like that. It's kind of shaded. So this is called You Are Beautiful. And this can be found on page, I believe it's 93. Yes, on page 93 of our catalog. So this was created by Margaret Van Vliet. She is a $1 million sales achiever. And with Stampin' Up, when you achieve $1 million in sales, you get to create your own stamp set. And Margaret, I loved yours right from the start. So we are using this, and again, let's just go ahead and get started. I didn't cut things. I do have a Creating with Colleen Magnus YouTube channel where I come to you live every Wednesday at noon, and those cards are more involved. There's special folds, techniques, that kind of thing. And there I have the pieces already cut, and I have measurements on them. So you can do a screenshot or anything that you need. But here I wanted to actually show you how I cut the paper. So here again, here's just take a little screenshot, because if you are watching it, then you can grab your cardstock if you're watching it afterwards, or even now. Grab your cardstock and then create with me. I love you here live because that gives me company in the stamp room, but if not, any questions you ever run into, contact me and I'll be happy to answer them. So for card making, the best cardstock to use if you have it is 8.5 by 11, because no matter how you cut it, whether it's this way or this way, it's going to give you a standard 5.5 by 4.25 inch card. So 2 cards out of every piece of cardstock. So I am going to take the petal pink, and I have my cutter here. I think if you've seen any of my videos before, I'd like to tell you to raise the blade from up here where this little finger is, because it has a magnet there. So it keeps this part closed, which is wonderful. I always try to pull down here and it sticks up here. So just keep it simple. Go for the magnet. And I also like to take that piece of tear and strip tape and put it underneath my measurement so it has a white backing and not a clear backing. So much easier for older eyes like mine. Okay, we have a scoring blade, and then we also have a cutting blade. So I'm going to cut this in half. I'm going to go 5.5 by 8.5. So I just open this up. I'm going to put it at the top, and my measurements are up here. Make sure you're always flat. Come across to 5.5. Take your cutting blade, and I'm going to save this for the next card that I'll be making. So this is 5.5 by 8.5, and typically I can fold this. See how it folds easy? So I don't always score it because I like to match my edges up. But if I'm doing it to where I'm folding this way, see how it's hard? So if I cut it this way, then I do make sure I score it at 5.5, because you're folding against the grain when you're doing that. That's against the grain, and it's a lot thicker, where this is a lot more flexible. But for the sake of scoring, I can go ahead and score this at 4.25 inches, which is right there, 4.25. And then I still make sure that I get my edges straight. So that's my 5.5 by 8.5, scored at, I didn't put it in there, I'm sorry, scored at 4.25, exactly in half. Now I'm going to need a piece of Calypso Coral, and with that, it's a 4 by 2.5 inch piece. So as I said, when I cut my cards, for my cards, I can cut it in half and get a card. So I'm actually going to cut a strip 4 inches, because that still leaves me 4.25 this way. I think it's the best use of my cardstock. So here I cut. Put this aside. I've got 4 inches by 2.5 inches. So this is part of my card here. And then I'm going to need a piece of Very Vanilla. So again, 3 and, and here's, well, I'll explain that in a minute so you can actually see it. But this is 3 3/4 by, I think I want it 2 1/4. I put 2, and I don't like that. Let me fix that for you. Okay, so 2 1/4. When in doubt, always cut larger, because you can always trim it off. Because my goal is to layer these two. So I'm glad I caught that. Whenever you're taking something and you're sizing it down with your cards, you always go down 1/4 inch. Let me grab my pen. 1/4 inch increments to the next one. So this here should be 2 1/4. Right there, 2 1/4. See, it's just 1/4 inch smaller. So those are the measurements there. So I will take my card base, my petal pink card base. Again, I do match up my corners. I take my bone folder for a nice crease, and you'll see where I'm going with this in a minute. I can put this on my card. Again, we're keeping this one really basic. So I am going to stamp a collage on here, and it's kind of like just making your own designer paper. I like to stamp it flat, and then I'll show you what I do for the edges up here. So I will take my petal pink ink, and again, I love this piece right here. So I'm going to ink it up, and you don't ever want to push hard in your pads. A lot of little taps work great. You push too hard, a couple things happen. First of all, you're going to get in these little parts, and it's going to kind of blotch up on you. And 2, you're going to make a mess. You don't want a mess. Everything you do in stamping is better with a lighter hand, I promise. It's a lot of experience there. Okay, so I'm just creating a collage. And so I don't get it on the back. I can fold it, but I make sure I hold that flat. And I can come in here. And you always want to go off the paper when you're doing a collage because you want it to look like it flows. If I kept it all on the inside, it wouldn't really flow well. So I did stamp tone on tone because I think it gives it a nicer look. Sometimes you go mixing too many colors and it gets really loud, really fast. Don't want that. So here I have that. Now I'm going to take my Very Vanilla and I'm going to take Early Espresso, which is a wonderful color. Call it the other black, because sometimes if you stamp with the black ink, it's too dark. But Early Espresso, it's a nice compromise, especially when you're using soft subtles cardstock. So again, I'm going to go light, and let me get this on here. When you have something that's cursive and then you have like something straight, when you're eyeing it onto your cardstock, always look at the straight, because this will take you all different directions. That's what you want, and that's what's going to look crooked if you don't get it straight. So right here, down, up. So trust in the Lord with all your heart, and He will direct your path. I'm a firm believer of that. So what I can do here is I can put this on here and leave it like that. But if I want to soften the edge, which I kind of got this at the last minute, I was like, yeah, I think I do. Let me keep putting my ink pads in the same place. If not, I'm all over the table, which is usually how I stamp. But I'm going to take the Petal Pink, and I'm going to take, this is one of our blending brushes, and you don't need one for every single color. I keep like the pinks together. I have one for the greens, for the blues. And then if you take a microfiber cloth, when you're done, and rub it on here, it'll pull a lot of that color out. But they are so soft, they come, this is a smaller one, and then we have the larger ones too, but they just can soften up any project you have. So I'm gonna always start out light, and then you can push down a little bit. And this, being so soft, I hope you can see it on the screen, but it just keeps that edge from being so stark. And I always hold the head of it, because see how skinny the little neck is? I feel like I have a little bit more control by putting this on here. So if this was white, you definitely would want to do that. It just adds that little bit. Okay, a little bit of softness there. So now I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take my Stampin' Seal. I know you all have your own adhesive, and there are many, many adhesives out there. With a Stampin' Seal, you want to hold it like this and curl it, because it's, let me show you if you don't. If you go like this and pick it up, it can like come off the wheel. You know, the stickiness does, the whole tape doesn't. But just turn it till you feel it, but you're going to pull it like that. And it is very strong, thankfully. So I will put this on here. Now I will pop this up. So I have dimensionals. I love a card with dimension. We have the small and the large. We used to have to cut the large ones in half, so now they spoiled us and made the smaller ones. Not complaining, both come in very handy. So it's this little octagon, and I'll peel it off. And I used to have classes up at my church, and I used to have to tell people, please don't drop these on the carpet, because we were driving the gal who cleaned the church crazy. She told me one day, she said, I don't know what it is. She said, there's these little octagon pieces of paper that I keep finding on the floor. She's like, do you know what it is? And I wanted to say, no, I don't, but of course you can't lie, especially in church. So anyways, we made sure we picked it up, because she must have thought we had aliens or something there, because each one was a perfect octagon. So now that I have this, just a little embellishment, you know, everybody likes a little bit of bling. So we have, let me find them, because here we go. In addition to the Stampin' Up catalog, which just came out May 1st. Lots of great products in here. We have a lot of other products too that are exclusive to online. They're not in a catalog. And that really keeps things fresh with Stampin' Up. And they introduce new product every 4 months. So in July, we will get even more product. They just introduced some not too long ago. So if you go to my blog, creatingwithcolleen.com, you can see the actual catalog there. And if you click on that icon, and then you can also click on the online exclusives and see what we have there. So these are called, they're adhesive back, which I love, dragonflies and birds. So on here, I don't know, I have dragonflies. I have the little birds flying this way and the other way. What do we want to use? I think, decisions. This is where I definitely lose time in the stamp room, but I'm going to go with the dragonflies. Yes. Well, you know what? Let's do a dragonfly and a bird. Compromise is good. Compromise is very good. When in doubt, go for the gusto and try to get as much as you can. So here, I have those. I'm not seeing comments on my laptop. I try to watch it. So Joan is here. Hey, Joan, I'm glad you're here. I would actually touch my phone to scroll, but I do that and then I usually turn myself off, and that's not good. So we're going to keep rolling. But again, please put comments. At the end, I'll get brave and touch the phone and we can go from there. But here you have trust in the Lord with all your heart, and he will direct your path. And then for the inside, I'm going to come back with my early espresso. Again, open that flat. And it says, make today amazing. Sometimes it's a choice, sometimes it's not, but hopefully your day is amazing. And then I'm going to take this little guy here and the Calypso Coral, because again, these colors coordinate beautifully. And I'll just stamp that little branch down there. And that's how you have your basic card. So the next one I'm going to stamp up. But you know, sometimes you need just a great basic card. If you have to sit and create a card for an hour before you use it, you might not be creating your cards unless you have time on, you know, an afternoon free. That is great, because I think stamping is therapy. But if you need a quick card, that's how quick it is. And a lot of it I was talking, so it's even quicker than that. So now to clean my stamps, this is one of our stamp cases, and I actually got this paper from a craft store because Stampin' Up! Didn't have Mickey Mouse, but we were having a convention in Orlando. So I actually took these. You can buy these 4 to a pack from Stampin' Up! They're really just the clear cases from your stamp set. And they hold our chamois, which, forgive my chamois, it looks terrible, but it still works so good I can't throw it out. But what I did is I cut down a notepad. So when they opened this, I put the Mickey Mouse at the top. They had a notepad and a pen in here so that they could take notes while they were at convention. But today, it's a cleaning pad. So with the chamois, you just keep it wet, a little twist, and no matter how bad this looks, your stamps come out very, very clean. I have a new one, but I just see no need to put it in here yet. I just apologize for this one looking so bad. But it works so good. And then the nice thing is, see, it just holds that ink, so your stamps are very, very clean. And then take it to the sink and just squish it out, and it's ready to go again. If it dries up and gets hard like a chamois does, wet it, and you're good to go. And I've had people ask, well, does it get moldy in here or anything? I've never had that happen, and it always stays in here wet. So, nope, it works good, and the chamois and some of those cases make a great way to clean your stamps. So now I'm going to step up the card. So that was our basic. I'll put this here. Try to find a place where I can keep it. And now we are going to step it up. I'm going to show you how to make it look like this, where it's a little bit more layered. And again, everything is going to be a 1/4 inch smaller than before. So for the stepped up card, I'm going to use the pieces that I had. So for my Calypso Coral, that's going to be my back piece now. So that's 5.5 by 8.5. So let me, okay, actually, y'all know when it's live, it is what it is. We're going to create it the other way. And maybe it's because you need to see it. Remember how I cut that 4 inches? Now I would have the 4 1/4 by 11. So that's what I need. So scratch this. Now you're going to need a still Calypso Coral, but you're going to have a 4 1/4 by 11 inches. I'm going to cut this because it's a little bit big. So 4 1/4 by 11. Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, I always say I'll teach you what to do or I'll teach you what not to do, but I promise to teach you something, and that is so true. This is not a big deal. We're just doing the card the different way, which really I think is great because now you get to see it both ways. So if I cut my cardstock long ways, 4 1/4 by 11, and now we are going to score it at 5.5. And then I'll go this way. And always make sure you use your scoring tool. Ah! Oh, did I really? Hey, sit tight. I have more cardstock behind me. Oh my goodness. Well, as I said, I am an open book. This is live. I don't know how to edit, so it is what it is. We're going to keep rolling with the other card. Okay. Now, take your 8.5 by 11 and go ahead and you're going to cut this to 4 1/4 by 11. Thankfully, I know I don't beat myself up over things like this because I would be bruised all the time. 4 1/4 by 11. Make sure your cutting blade is out of sight and then score it at 5.5. But again, I think it's great because it does show you both ways to do your card. So this is my card base. So it'll end up being folded like this. And when you have it like this, you can make your card open this way or you can go sideways, which is what we are going to be doing. This is right, 5 1/4 by 4. So I will take my petal pink and I'm going to cut this. This was the scrap from before. So I'm going to cut it 4 by 5 1/4. Because remember it was 5.5. And then I have this. So once I have these two, I have a 5 inch by 3 3/4 very vanilla. And the reason I have that is because my Calypso Coral is my card base and it's darker. So I definitely want to put something light in there. You could probably still write on there, but I think it looks more finished if you have that piece of very vanilla inside. So that is 5 by 3 3/4. Let me see how wide it is. Not 5. Okay, so let's do 5 by 3 3/4. Again, always make sure that you are flat at the top up there so you get a nice straight cut. That is my inside piece. And last but not least, let me take one of those little pieces that I have. And for my Calypso Coral, I'm going to do 4 1/8 by 2 1/2. And you'll see why. So I have it there. So let me do 2 1/2 first. That'll save more cardstock. 2 1/2 by 4 1/8. The reason it has to be 1/8 is because I'm going to use a die, and that fits it a little bit better. You'll see when I do that. So to get this here, I still need, and then I just need a scrap of Very Vanilla, which I have right here. So I'll be using this when I die cut. So what I'm going to do is, for my card base, match it up. And again, this was the way when you do it this way that I said you have to score it because you're folding against the grain. And it would get a little chunky. We don't want chunky. So I have that. I now have my petal pink. And with my petal pink, I will go ahead and get my petal pink ink. Another thing that you could do is use Versamark. I wasn't sure if it would be dark enough on here, but hey, we got nothing to lose at this point. So we're going to try it. And if it is, I have a second side. I'm in good shape. So with the Versamark, it's a watermark stamp pad. So it's great when you do heat embossing, which we will do at a future date because it holds the powder and you heat it up. It's a wonderful technique, but it leaves a watermark. So let's see, usually better on darker stamps, but let's see how it does on here. Might be a little too light, but again, I have two sides. I was wondering and I just didn't do it ahead of time. Yeah, so see, this is going to be way too light. It works better on darker. I'm still going to do it so that as it darkens up, you can see it, but I will be stamping the other side. If you had a darker piece, I think you would see it more. So for example, if you had, I'll use the back side of this. You won't see that anyways. If you had the back side and you were to put it on here, you will see that a little bit better. Give it just a minute to kind of come to life. But I am going to go ahead and use Petal Pink. See if you can see that. It's starting to come together. See how light that is? A little bit better on the darker. So this is with the darker. But you can see how with just the Versamark, you could still get a background. And that'll darken up just a little bit as we keep talking. But you get the background. So flip it over. Take two. Nothing wrong with that. Now I'm going to do tone on tone because it does stand out more. Yeah, that's what I want. And just rotate your paper. You don't want it all going the same way or doing the same thing. Let's see what we got here. Okay. And if you want on your edges, just that little bit of a continuation. There's always a fine line where you kind of get carried away. One more there, just because I can. Okay, so now I have that. And I'm going to put it on here. So everything, as I was saying, your layers are 1/4 inch smaller. I'll put that there. So here I've got the card base. Next, since I can, we're kind of making that part the same. I'm going to put my words in here. The early espresso, so I can get this out of the way. So, make today amazing. And then once again, I will take my little sprig with the Calypso Coral. And incidentally, I think I showed this last time, but if you are going to open your ink pads like this, you see this little fingers there, I just pull it and that slides in. You can slide it all the way or just leave it like that. So that'll pick up the color on the inside. So I'm thinking my comments are not coming up. Leave me a comment and I'll see. I wish I knew how to do it on the screen. I do for my YouTube lives, I can see the comments, but for some reason on Facebook, I am not. But I am going to take my phone and look at that. So please leave the comments and I will go through it. So here, make today amazing. I have my card. Now for the center, this was where I'm going to step it up a little bit different. I have my piece of Very Vanilla and I'm going to use a die cutting machine. So we have a wonderful die cutting machine where you can use folders to emboss. You can, of course, die cut. We have stamps that match our dies, but the die that I'm using, this one carried over into the catalog. This is called Countryside Corner Dies. And when you look at them, they're nice because mine are a little bit of a hot mess right now, but they all layer. So you have the layering naturally. And I'm going to use, I believe it's this one. Yep. I'm going to use this one, the third largest. So these are actually in the catalog, and we did our catalog different. We did it more for the beginner stamper. We have an index in the back. So if you're looking for this die, you can look at Countryside Corners, and it's on page 122. But it's not like they show them all together like they did before. They show them with the samples. So on page 122 up here, this is the Countryside Corner dies. But I think they're great. I think you can use them, again, to cut your pictures if you're scrapbooking. You can cut definitely your cards. So I'm just going to take a scrap. Let's just cut this down. Don't have to be technical because I'm going to cut it out. And let me show you how the die cutting machine works. Okay. So we have the Stampin' Up! Die cutting machine, and it's nice because it folds up, which is really great. So as it folds up, then I just take my sides down and I run through what I want to run through. So it comes with the machine. You have the die cutting plate. You have, for now, since I'm doing a die, I need that little bit of thickness. So I have this, and then you have 2 acrylic plates. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the plates in here. If I was just embossing, I wouldn't have this one, but since I'm doing a die, I have to have it. So I'll put that there. Take one of my cutting plates. Then I'm going to take my die, and instead of running it this way, it's kind of chunky, you know, because it has to go over this whole piece. I just like to run it at an angle, and it goes very smooth. Then I put this on top. I make sure everything is even on the edges, and then when I put it through, it goes through like butter. And I have my cut piece. So again, we have stamp sets with dies, which are great because you're not having to do all the fussy cutting. And then we have a lot of different wonderful shapes. Now, one of the things I do, let me get it before I lose this, is I have a magnetic bowl. This was made for the garage, so it would hold screws and nails, and of course the stamper saw it and said, oh, no, 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 that is great for my dies. And it is. I have a small and a large one, but if you're creating and you're not taking your time to put them back in the container, get one of these so you know where to find them. Hey, Sharon Wheeler, good to see you. So my comments are working. Good to see you, Sharon. I'm glad you could be here. We are going to have to schedule one of these retreats. I'll be there. You're going to have to schedule a retreat with Tina. I'm very excited about doing retreats with her, both virtually and also in person in Nags Head. Woohoo! Okay, focus, Colleen, focus. Okay, so I'm going to put this here. Then I have my shape. I will go ahead and stamp my saying on here. Sharon is no stranger to this saying too. Trusting in the Lord with all your heart. He will direct your path. So now that I have that, I am going to go ahead and tape it on here. And since it's a little tight, see, that's why I had to do the 1/8. I'm going to use my liquid glue because then I can actually move it around to make sure that all my edges are even. So I'm going to take this and put it in here, move it around if need be. There. So now when I put it on my card, again, I'm going to use my dimensionals. Now I could have used the next die and done the exact same shape. I could actually take my scissors and cut this. It's easy enough to cut, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use an embellishment instead. Put on my dimensionals. So I love a day where I can stamp, but I will be taking a walk today. It's so pretty outside. A long walk. Okay, so here I have, trust the Lord with all your heart, and he will direct your paths. And then we have these really nice, these are called flat adhesive back pearls. And they, there's 2 different sizes, and they're like an iridescent. So they're really, really pretty. So I'm just going to take something like this. To me, it's easier sometimes to pick them up with either a paper piercer or your pick a tool. And I'm just going to put these on here. And that's going to add that bling that I need to go on here. Okay. So you can keep it this simple, or if you want, you could have also just taken with the petal pink and stamped in each corner, kind of bring in a little bit of those leaves. I like that too. Like that. So again, that's one way. But since I cut it wrong, that's, okay, let's not call that wrong because it still works. I cut it this way. Yeah, that's the way I wanted it. That'll work. All right. So I did want to share with you, we took our first basic card. Let me see where I put that. Oh my goodness. Once you start creating, it's everywhere. Here we go. So we took this basic card, quick, easy, definitely great to send. Then we stepped it up. The only difference was this didn't have the stamping, that does. And then on my YouTube live that I did, I think it was this past Wednesday, I went ahead and kind of combined the two. This is another die that we have. Now this is on the online store, and this one is called Everyday Detail Dies. These are wonderful dies, and so they come in the rectangles. You have this, which creates a circle pattern. Then you have all the circles. So this is a wonderful set of dies, and when you use the largest one, this one here, it actually cuts out like this. So you have to have the right measurement to get that as a frame, which is what I use, and I show you that in my video. But you always have this part when you cut that. So now you've got another piece that you could put on your card and use again. So they're wonderful dies. And in that video, I will show you how to make the dots white in the back. This is vanilla. And then I will show you how to actually ink your stamp. This is not colored. This was all the different colors of ink on my stamp, and then I did have to fussy cut it, which I love cutting with my scissors. And then that's on the inside. So these are the live. If you go to my Creating with Colleen Magnus YouTube channel and look under live, you're going to see how to make this card with all the measurements. And let me show you another sample. So this is the Lost Lagoon, the basic beige, and the Pretty Peacock. Another favorite of our colors. They're just as pretty as those. They're actually beautiful. And then I do have a separate video I did a while ago showing the dies. And of course, this is lavender lace and gorgeous grape. Beautiful cards. So in this card, I made the designer paper a little bit smaller, so there was a white frame on the inside. And then in this card, I actually made the designer paper the full size. So this paper is gorgeous. What is it? Perennials? Sharon, you should know the... Well, I should know. Oh, Sharon, you should know the name of that. No, I should know the name of that. You will see it in our online store. Perfect Perennials, or I think that's what it was. I know it had the word perennials in it. And then we have the little paper butterflies that we sell with the gems. But you can see a complete video on how to make those and how to make this one. Again, Creating with Colleen Magnus on my YouTube channel. So I promised I was going to share some information with you. And first of all, if you would like to order any of these products, you can go to my creatingwithcolleen.com, and Stampin' Up! Is offering free shipping tomorrow only on all orders that are $75 or more. So if you want to save on your shipping, it would be great to order then and go ahead and start that wish list, get a jump on it, and get free shipping with $75 or more. Now, there is also another great deal we have, and it is a starter kit deal. So with Stampin' Up, you can select $125 in Stampin' Up product from the online store or from the annual catalog. You only pay $99 and the shipping is free. So for the month of May, they are also going to throw in the new In Color products, which is an $82 value. So you're going to get $270 in product. I need to slow down, y'all. I get excited. $207 in product and only pay $99 plus your tax. So every year Stampin' Up! Comes out with 5 new in colors. And these are the brand new in colors for this year, and they're gorgeous. It is Peach Pie, Petunia Pop, Pretty Pink, Shy Shamrock, and Summer Splash. Still learning them. But when you purchase the starter kit, you will get the 5 ink pads, a pack of assorted 8.5 by 11 cardstock, 6 by 6 designer series paper, all in these colors, and the 5 Stampin' Right markers, in addition to the 125 in product. So if you have any questions at all, please let me know. It's only for the month of May, the special is, but if it's something you say, yes, I definitely want to do that, then again, go to my creatingwithcolleen.com and just select Join Now, and you can take advantage of that special. And please know there's never any obligation to purchase anything else. It does make you a part of Stampin' Up! You would have till October 31st, even if you did absolutely nothing, just to be a part of my team, see what we're all about. We do a lot of stamping virtually and in person. So I would love to share this experience with you. Any questions, let me know. And I think that's it. My grandson will be here soon. Oh, not yet. He gets out at noon. So Danny's picking him up. Good. I have time to clean up, and that'll be great. So you all have a wonderful day. Keep in mind, I am with Tina and this awesome Facebook page the 1st and 3rd of every Monday at 11 o'clock, where I come just to share some creativity with you. So thank you, Tina. And I hope you all like the cards. Like, how do you arrange them? Who knows? But either way, I hope you have a blessed day, and make sure you do something creative. Take care now. Bye-bye. Always got to find the X where I got to end. Right there. Bye.